I'm Gary Birtles, one of the old gits from a long time ago. You've got to tune into Tricky Talks, I believe, so just do it. All the best.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Hello, welcome to the Tricky Talks podcast Rage edition as Forest finished their Premier League season away from home with a 2-2 draw against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Here with me to echo their thoughts on one particular topic are Kate and Mollo. Kate, you're shaking your head, looking absolutely disgusted with not with you, well, not with us, but with the referee.
The what?
Yeah, exactly.
The what now? Was there a referee at that game? Was
Apparently
there?
so.
Did he know what he was supposed to be doing? Had he read the rules before he came on the pitch? Can we clarify what it takes to be a referee? Because I'm not sure I saw one there.
No. Mollo, you're back from the game as well. And I know you're not happy either, are you? And rightly so.
No, not at all. I was calming down and then I made the mistake of going online and realising how stupid so many Man U fans are with the rubbish they put on there and justifying what happened. And it's an absolute joke. I've got a slightly different take that I'll come to in a minute.
Yeah, for the record, you two were at the game. I watched it on telly, and I was just chatting with Kate off air, Mollo, before you joined, and we were reliving the events of the handball. And I said, I was so confident that it was going to be overturned. I was quite relaxed about it, and I quickly messaged the group that we're in and said that's a handball. And Gary Neville was saying it was a handball, and the Forest players clearly were saying it was handball. And even when the linesman, the referee in inverted commas went to the monitor, I was still pretty confident that it was going to be overturned. And
I wasn't.
And the thoughts from the commentators were, because they get the feed from VAR, was saying that they were saying it was a handball. Why they couldn't tell the referee it was handball, I don't know the rules well enough to know why they can't just tell the ref to give a handball.
Didn't celebrate, did he?
No, they didn't celebrate.
So
You're
he
right.
knew.
And he went over to the monitor, and I was just there thinking he was just doing the formalities. And then as the time went on, he was checking the monitor just to make absolutely sure he was going to make the right decision. And then he was checking it. And again, I said to Kate, when he turned around, he had this nervous look on his face. Whether I was reading between the lines, I don't know. But if you were confident in making the right decision, I didn't feel as though he had the right look on his face. He looked nervous and he looked hesitant, maybe because he realised it was going to be controversial. But that's the thought that I was going through watching it on TV. And obviously you guys don't get the benefit of any of that commentary. But I know you've, like you say, Molly, you've been reading social media since then, and it's all kicking off, of course.
I watched it back. My take is the rules are a mess. We've said that. And maybe there's an argument by the letter of the law that if it's accidental and he isn't the goal scorer, that he can make the goal stand. But I'm sorry, I played football at an okay level, not the level of someone like Cunha, who's an absolute class player on the ball. There's no two ways about it. He knew exactly what he was doing. When the ball hits you on the side like that, I remember scoring a goal once where the blind side of the referee, and I kind of, in my running action, accidentally scooped it forward in front of me because I knew I couldn't control it there. And that's exactly what he did. He knew full well what he's doing. Anyone who thinks he doesn't, especially you one-eyed, foolish Man U fans who know what a good player is, but clearly don't know what it takes to be a good player of that kind of level. And I obviously, like I said, I was a million miles from that kind of level. You do not control a football accidentally with your hand in football. It wasn't blasted at him by somebody 2, 3, 4 yards away. It came over, his position was slightly awkward, so he's got a sneaky little arm to control it, and that's fine. He took a chance and got away with it. That's the job. VAR I hate it anyway. It might as well be gone. It's pointless because it did its job today and the referee overruled it incorrectly. That's my take on it, regardless of what the new rules are. And I managed to say all of that without swearing, which I think is a miracle.
Yeah, and Kate, everybody's entitled to an opinion, right or wrong, But to suggest something that was incorrect, like Mollo said, in terms of it accidentally hitting his hand, he clearly, whether or not he did or didn't do it deliberately is irrelevant. The fact is he got an advantage from what happened. He clearly trapped the ball between his arm and his thigh
If
to
he
give him that
doesn't do
advantage.
that,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
goes out the box.
Yeah.
And it's not the opportunity to score a goal. And oh my God, it's so frustrating when you're standing there and you're watching it. It's so frustrating because, like you said, the whole body language of the referee when he went over to the screen. Like, we all cheered when he went over to the screen, because when they go over to the screen, most of the time that means it's going to go your way. And we were so sure at that point, and we actually did see it on TV. Des got it quickly up on his Sky Go, and they were showing it back. So we'd seen it, and we were all like showing that around, and we were all, like you, Simon, utterly convinced it was going to be overturned. You know, the goal wasn't going to be given. And then he goes over to the screen, and he's kind of, his whole body language changes. And I said to the person next to me, he is absolutely desperate to give them that goal. And then as he turned around, you just knew he was going to. And you were already angry before he'd even said the goal stands. You knew he was going to say it, and you were already angry. And the bubble up in the away end, as you knew what was coming, was just like, yeah, really bad.
Notts Police put out a message this evening saying there were no arrests at the game. Yet there should have been one arrest for a certain person, but you know that gives some credit to Forest fans who were there, of course, who could quite easily have been absolutely furious with it and caused and things could have got out of control. But credit to them, they didn't.
There's never an excuse for that kind of behaviour to get you arrested. But what I will say is, imagine if we needed a point still to stay up.
Yeah,
you know, it was lucky it was a dead rubber, and I get it. I've seen some of the Man U, I say Man U fans, let's be fair. The people that say they support Man U that are online saying, oh, it's a dead rubber, what does it matter? It matters. Of course it matters.
Yeah.
I wanted a 3-3 draw because, and Kate will remember this, before the game, Des said it's either going to be about 3-0 or 3-3 before the game. And I thought it'd be quite good. But I wanted the 3-3 because I thought, you know, let's be clear, we didn't really deserve to win or even get the draw because we were hanging on at times. And, you know, that defence was as leaky as anything. And for all the great things we said about Nets, he's now been tested defensively and up to now found completely wanting. And as I suspected, can't head a ball, which I think I said last week. But, you know, there's potential as a midfielder, that's something else. But you don't go to football matches and there's league points at stake. And someone made a point, a draw would have moved us up a couple of spots and pick up another nearly 7 million quid potentially.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to, isn't it?
Because that 7 million quid is season ticket money or the wages for a player to replace Anderson for a year, whatever it might be. You know, don't tell me it doesn't matter. All those idiots that don't go to games. Not there's anything wrong with not going to games, but it's going on. It's only a dead rubber. You know, shut your mouths. You don't know anything. You idiots. I've never seen such stupidity as what I've been reading online tonight from the people who profess to be Man U fans. Clearly know nothing about football.
But it's not even about that. It's not even about the millions of pounds and if they needed it for something or we needed it for something. I mean, it would have been a whole lot worse if we did and we were singing the "Are You Celtic in Disguise" chants, weren't we? You know, but it's fundamentally damaging to football. Something like that. Everybody said it was a handball. There's all this controversy around VAR. There's all this controversy around what exactly are the rules and can people wriggle out of it. And this is why decisions like this is why it's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous.
But what's the point in VAR though? If something is clear as that, what's the point in VAR? I hate VAR. If we'd have lost conceded from the dodgy handball, and there's no VAR saying, go look, I'll take that because referees make mistakes. But that's just outright blatant, I'm going to be kind and say incompetence. And someone who's never played the game, clearly.
Yeah, VAR was suggesting to the referee it was handball and were recommending he have another look with a view, obviously, to overturning it. And this is the wrong week. One-eyed
Gary Neville says it's handball and it's a disgrace. You know there's a problem.
Exactly. And this was the worst week for this to happen, given what happened in the Hearts game the other week as well. VAR is under so much scrutiny at the moment anyway. And And to a certain extent, you can now understand and feel sorry for Hearts, what they've gone through, because the impact of a wrong decision has far outweighed what Forest have gone through today in terms of it costing them a league title and their players a championship winning medal. So you can understand where they're coming from now as well. I know it's not to the same sort of level, as I say, but the principle is still the same. And unfortunately, that's the state of refereeing at the moment in this country, isn't it?
Football.
Yeah.
But am I right in saying someone said it's only the second time this season that a referee's been sent to the monitor in the Premier League and stuck with his original decision? And it's like, look at me, I totally get it if they got the right decision, but it was so clearly wrong.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm biased, and yes, I want the right thing for Forest, but as I said right from the off, by the letter of the law, you can potentially argue because he wasn't a goal scorer if it was completely accidental. Anyone who's played the game at Sunday League level, never mind these guys, knows full well you do not. That just doesn't happen accidentally when a ball comes that far to you. Absolute garbage. You know, it's a bit like when you stamp on a player accidentally. Unless you're falling over, that doesn't happen either. You know what you're doing. And these guys are elite athletes, elite professionals. You know, you can chuck a ball to any professional footballer, they can control it in almost any part of their body. And he knew when it was hitting his hip, he couldn't control it, and that's what he did. And I'm not calling him a cheat. I'm not having a go. Much as his attitude can be ropey, and same with Fernandez. They're terrific players. But it should have been sorted out, and we probably might well have gone on to lose the game. That's not my issue here. But in the end, we've lost by 1 goal, and the difference has been that. And we can get you're crying and all that, but it's wrong, and we all know. And this is my final piece on it. We all know there's only 2 grounds really where that was always going to happen: Anfield and Old Trafford. And we also know if it had been the other way round, of course we can't say 100%, but not one person believes if it was the other way round, the goal would have stood for Forest. Not one person, not even those one-eyed so-called Man U fans that believe that. And we saw it too. I mean, is it a coincidence? 2 years ago we lost there with a penalty that was never a penalty, and Danilo was shorts brushed Rashford, who dived, and he got the penalty. It's boring now. It's every time we go there, it's a crap away end. It always rains, and there's always a dodgy referee's decision. So just get gone into the Super League. We don't want you anymore.
Go on, Kate. Final word.
Well, I was going to say very similar to Mollo that you have to. It's not even that you have to ask that question, but because the decision was so shonky, that is why that question gets asked. Would it have happened the other way round? That's why, and that's what I mean about how damaging it is. And do you know what? I've not heard a single person of note say anything other than that is a stonewall handball.
Yeah.
And even most of the fans that were coming out of the ground, I think, were feeling a little bit awkward looking at us thinking, shouldn't really have had that, you know, and it just. Yeah, it'd be
interesting to see whether there are any repercussions for the referee in terms of will he referee next week or not, because it's going to come under so much scrutiny. He's going to be in the spotlight. Interestingly enough, the Premier League Match Centre didn't offer any explanation as to why it was given. They just literally repeated the statement that the referee gave in the stadium at the time. So we'll look to see if the Premier League Referees Managers Association or whatever they call offer another reflection on the statement, or whether even Howard Webb would come out and admit that was the wrong decision. We'll await that.
Did you notice letters of apology now?
Sorry, go Mollo.
I'm saying we'll probably just get another letter of apology to frame.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody noticed, but when Forest send out the notifications of significant events, their notification was that Man U had scored, despite there being an obvious handball in the build-up.
Yeah. Do you think they'll get told to delete that tweet?
I mean, not by me.
Yeah, we'll wait. See, right, that's our instant reaction, and we'll be back again tomorrow with a more measured approach to the game, possibly. Although I suspect feelings are going to continue to run high. But that's it for us for now. Thank you for listening and for watching, and bye for now.